investment waste that nobody is talking about.
Financial vehicles to avoid. Let's talk about it.
This is such a great topic because when we think of retirement, most of us immediately go to government qualified plans. But a lot of people watching this need to know that they should be proceeding with caution when it comes to their employer retirement plans, because ultimately what we have today was never intended to be our primary source of retirement. So let's kind of unpack that. Let's zero into what retirement used to look like for Americans in the glory days.
Yeah, it's really simple. You know, most Americans back in the day, our grandparents, great-grandparents, they had a pension, they had investments and savings, and they had Social Security. That essentially became what's known as a three-legged stool. That stool became kind of wobbly as time progressed because, well, what happened to pensions?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't sit on that stool today. And in fact, it is pretty much extinct when you start to really unpack each leg of that stool. And so the first leg of the stool that we're referring to really is Social Security. Social Security, as we know it, as our grandparents knew it, should provide you with income throughout your retirement age.
Yeah, but you know what, Jasmine? You know, the Social Security was never intended to be a retirement vehicle.
It should have only ever been supplemental retirement.
And even from as far back as when it was invented or came out, I should say, it was when people passed the age expectancy, it would kick in.
Yeah.
Right? Because people back in the days weren't living into their 80s and 90s. Based upon how Social Security was intended, it's actually really not supposed to kick in until a person is 80 plus years old.
Yeah, and today we have folks retiring at 40 years old, 50 years old, and ultimately it has led up to us depleting or exhausting the Social Security fund. So much so that many economists predict that Social Security could be completely depleted as early as 2033.
What's more alarming is not just economists, the Social Security Administration is saying it.
You know what's so crazy? So for those of you who don't know, my mom actually worked for Social Security Administration throughout my entire life. She worked there for 34 years and really worked her way up that corporate ladder.
Right.
Super proud of my mom. No college education, literally started out as a single mom, a secretary with nothing but a high school diploma. And this is back when getting that good government job meant something, getting that good pension plan. And to see her actually work for the Social Security Administration for over 34 years, my brothers and I watched her kind of move up the ranks, start to earn more income. And even my mother, when I graduated college, told me she didn't think Social Security would be around when it came time for me to retire.
Wow.
But that's where we have it, folks. So that was the first leg of Americans' retirement structure. The second leg is good old pension plans. Mm-hmm. Now, this is back when pensions were created, back at a time when employers were loyal to their employee and employees were loyal to their employer. What am I talking about? This is back when folks would get a job at General Motors. They would start with Ford and they would work at that company for 20, 30, sometimes 40 years, help building up the value of that company. And in a way to show gratitude, that employer would then provide them with a lifetime income. For the rest of their life after they retire, they would receive a monthly stipend for retirement. Now, we used to have, this is what people don't know, we used to have 85,000 pension plans in the US.
Wow.
Over 85,000 pension plans. That means it wasn't only Uncle Sam providing people with pensions. Everybody worked, private sector. Mm-hmm. And over the course of numerous decades and generations.
Well, what happened during those generations?
Well, simply put, you had the audacity to start living longer.
Really?
You started eating healthier. You started going to the doctor for your checkups more. You started taking better care of your health, which extended your life expectancy. And so pensions were created at a time where the mortality rate was pretty low.
Well, what's mortality?
Mortality rate is essentially your life expectancy, right? How long are you expected to live? Based on where you live, based on how you live, age, gender, and your nationality, your ethnic background. Now, I know you and I talk about this often. You actually think that I'm gonna pass away before you.
That's not what I think, that's what I know.
And I don't know how to feel about that, ladies, because he's pretty confident.
Even if it's just 1 second.
Why is that important to you to live longer?
I'm beating the mortality. I'm beating the status quo where they always say the man goes first, and that ain't happening. And you ain't moving nobody else in my house.
Oh my God. That's the reason why you want to go before me, to make sure.
That willpower is going to make sure that I outlive you, just for that alone.
Lord Jesus. So anywho, so back to pension plans. Again, so we started living longer and costing employers more money. And employers went to the federal government, specifically wealthy people, and they were like, look, this is costing us a lot more money. They needed tax shelters at the time. And so they came out with IRS tax code 401k. And we'll get to that in just a second, but essentially pensions, it was the second leg of the three-legged stool, right?
And it's, I worked for you for 30 years, and yeah, it sounds good, you get a pension, but most people, like you were alluding to, they would pass away 5 years, 10 years after they were retired.
For sure.
But what happened after that was they started living 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. So it's now I'm paying you for sometimes even longer than what you work for me.
I mean, let's think about that. What's the age of the youngest person you know that's retired? My mom retired at the age of 54 years old. 54 years old, my mother retired from the Social Security Administration, and she will receive a monthly stipend for the rest of her life. She could live prayerfully another 50 years.
That's right.
And Social Security Administration has to pay her out. So that was pensions, guys. Those were the glory days. Today we have less than 30,000 pension plans, and many of them are with the government.
If that, even if it's 30,000, a lot of them are unstable. Some states are some of the worst states to have pensions.
Yeah.
We come from a state that had one of the worst pension plans in America.
Yeah, even they're being ran by the pension board. The pension board is making decisions on your retirement, where to invest it, how to invest it. People don't know about these things. And then the third leg of that three-legged stool was personal savings and investments. Well, I think you and I know we have survived a lot over the last 20 years. From market crash to recessions to inflation, everything around us is costing more money. And the media would have us to believe that we actually have a savings problem, that we're irresponsible. Guys, we don't have a savings problem. We have an income problem. The average family no longer has the luxury to decide whether or not they need to make additional income. It's a necessity at this point. Like, you literally can no longer afford to only have a 9 to 5. And so we used to say, living paycheck to paycheck. Very few Americans will ever kind of take that leap into paycheck to prosperity, because we can't save money. We're not making enough money anymore. The average American worker has less than $1,000 in their savings. That's sad.
That's sad. I remember being like that, though. You and I were like that.
For sure.
We had college degrees. We had good paying jobs, as people were saying. And we barely could keep $1,000 in the bank account.
Guys, Ellis and I, we couldn't afford a flat tire. We couldn't afford a flat tire. We couldn't afford a sick day. We literally could not afford for one of our kids to be sick, take off of work, and kind of be at the liberty of the employer saying whether or not they're gonna pay us for that day off. I remember some really rough, we was broke. And when I say broke, obviously there's levels to broke, but to me, if you're still living paycheck to paycheck, that's not being comfortable. Financially, you can't afford an emergency. You're literally one prayer away from bankruptcy. But that was the retirement structure. Personal savings and investments, which we now know folks can't afford to save money because everything is costing more and we're earning less. Pension plans that are now extinct. And then Social Security, which, to be frank, is looking pretty insecure.
Look, guys, we've been taught all our lives to go to school, get good grades, get a good education so you can get yourself a good job with good benefits. And one of those good benefits is supposed to be that retirement plan. But it is a fact that not one single person has ever sustained retirement with a 401k, a 403b, a 457, whatever it is. They have not been able to maintain it. We see this every day when we go into Target, when we go into Walmart. We seeing that the greeters are getting older and older. I read an article not too long ago that stated that when you go into the fast food restaurants, the workers are getting older because the older workers need more work. And the younger generation, the 18 to 23 years old, they can't even get a job at Burger King because you got 40 to 50 years old fighting to get a job in Burger King because they're trying to make ends meet. And if I'm a business owner, who would I rather hire? A 40 to 50 year old or an 18-year-old?
Yeah, it's gonna cost them less money.
Yeah, because the 18-year-old is a lot of times not dependable. Don't know if they're gonna show up, right? But I know a 40 years old, 30 years old, 50 years old, they're gonna show up, and it's unfortunate. But that's what the system has done to society.
Yeah, and I wanna take a quick tangent and just kind of go into some of the specific problems that we have with a lot of government qualified retirement plans today and things that you need to be aware about. Number one is the liquidity. The fact that when I invest my money into a 401k, I actually have rules, restrictions, and regulations preventing me from accessing my money whenever I need it. How do you feel about that? Do you like the government telling you when and when you can and can't touch your money?
Absolutely not. You know, I think it's one of the biggest scams, right? Is because that 401k or whatever, that's benefiting the company with the tax shelter. You know, they talk about, oh, well, my company matches me. Do you think they match you because they really want to help you? They want to see you win. They want to see you prosper. That's not what they're doing it for. They're doing it for a tax write-off. And by the way, I'm an entrepreneur. I understand it, right? So I'm not saying like, oh, this is something that people that we're not going to tell anybody, or we can never tell them about it. Hey, we got to learn the rules of the money game, guys. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what the Wealth Academy is all about. We're exposing these things so that you can understand the rules of the money game. Not to get upset at the money game, but just to learn it. And so that you can be better prepared and start setting yourself up, right? Because, okay, if you want to keep your 401k, great, but it should not be your only financial vehicle to ensure that you live the rest of your life with decency and dignity in retirement.
I agree. That was said like a preacher. It was like, I don't know if the snap, clap, wave, but amen. Amen. So then liquidity, right? We know that in a government qualified retirement account, you can't access your money whenever you want it. You have to have a life-changing event. You are hit with a tax penalty. It's so many different restrictions that will give you permission to access your money. The second reason why you and I don't believe that government retirement plans are good investments is rate of return.
That's right. Who controls the rate of return? Who's investing the money? It's like you can pick one of three things, right? You can pick conservative, moderate, aggressive, and that's it. That's all you know. What is this based upon?
What does it even mean? Well, a lot of folks don't know that most 401ks are variable products. And so I want to make sure that we explain that there are three ways that your money can grow: fixed, variable, or index. And you got to know this when it comes to your retirement. In a fixed account, we all know them. It's a CD. It's a
savings account, slow growth, slow burn, not making anything exciting, right? It's just good old steady wins the race.
Bingo. It's safe, but no growth. And then you have a variable account where there's potential for growth, but there's no safety.
That's that roller coaster.
That's that roller coaster. You know? And that's actually your 401k.
That's
it can go up, but what did we see in 2019, 2020? It can also go down.
But Jasmine, the market will come back. We'll make money again.
I don't have time to wait for the market to bounce back, especially in knowing that every 10 to 15 years, there will be a recession because the market must correct itself. And so every 10 to 15 years, you're essentially gambling how much of your retirement account you will lose. I don't know, Ellis. I mean,
it's like playing Russian roulette, if you ask me. Put it in, spin it, and, let's see if it's going to work out for us.
Well,
and that's what a lot of people are doing.
And I also want to say this, guys, this is in no way judgment, because when all you know is what you know, that's all you know. It's all you can do. Most of you watching this, your grandparents have 401ks, or maybe they had a pension, but that no longer exists for you. Your parents probably had a pension. And so you're thinking that you're doing the right thing. And by the way, that's exactly what Ellis and I did with our first job out of college. We got 401k.
I had three.
And I don't know about you guys, but I was proud to contribute, Ellis.
I wasn't proud to contribute. You know why I wasn't proud to contribute? Because I always felt like somebody was controlling my money. Why am I putting this over here and I don't really know what this is for?
Yeah.
They saying it's for retirement, but I see it go up and I see it go down.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm a person, I don't like to lose money. So much so I don't even gamble.
Yeah.
I went to the casino one time, played $100, went up like 500. I was like, Peter Griffin hit me. And I lost it all. One time only. I said I've never been to a casino again and gamble. I don't like to lose money.
I think the cool thing, though, when we think about a lot of government qualified plans, is what is attractive to a lot of employees is the fact that their employer will match them. And so think about it, Ellis. You just went through college for 4 years. You have a mountain of student loan debt. You get your first job, and on day one, you sign your benefits package.
Yeah.
And one of those benefits is a retirement plan. And it's the responsible thing to do. So you sign up for retirement.
Absolutely.
You have no idea that this retirement vehicle lives in the stock market. You're not even in control of where your money is being invested in, right? Mm-hmm. How your money is being diversified in the market. The other thing is that it's a great way for companies to earn your loyalty, because if I can match your contribution dollar for dollar, guess what? You're going to become loyal to me. You're going to think how gracious of a company I am. Mm-hmm. To care that much about you, to match your $300 contribution every single month. But what's something that you and I know that most Americans don't know? Why are companies matching employees?
Tax benefit.
It's a tax write-off. That's why your employer would match your monthly contribution into your 401k dollar for dollar, because it is a tax write-off for them. So let's wake up. We gotta wake up.
Gotta wake up, guys. Gotta realize that not everything that people are saying or doing or giving you is necessarily the best benefit for you. You got to get out there. You got to do research. You got to look at different options. All of our grandparents, no matter your ethnicity, where you come from, your background, we've all heard it. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
So the third way that your money can grow is in an indexed account. And indexed accounts provide you with both safety and potential for growth, right? But most 401ks, again, guys, lives within a variable account, which means potential for growth and absolutely zero safety. So when we think about government qualified plans, there's no tax advantage. And that's the final reason why you and I believe that those plans are an investment waste.
But Jasmine, they do give me a tax advantage. It's tax deferred.
Well, tell me, can you predict what the taxes will be in the future?
Absolutely not.
All right, so I don't know about you, but if I had a chance to pay a bill today and I knew exactly how much that bill would be today, or wait 20 years and there's a high probability that that bill will be significantly higher, I would probably pay that bill today.
Yeah, whoop, there it is right there.
Whoop, there it is. But so that's a tax, right? That's the tax disadvantage of a 401k, is that you're actually going to be taxed when you're most vulnerable. You'll be taxed at a much higher income bracket because you have more money than you've ever had in your entire life. And now you got to cut a check of 40 to 60% to Uncle Sam. So happy retirement. Well, that is why we believe government qualified plans are an investment waste, and it's also why we encourage you and all of our clients to explore an index universal life policy or a fixed index annuity. And both of them you can only get through the life insurance industry.
With that being said, guys, click that link in the bio if you're looking for more information, to reach out to us, schedule a time to talk with us, and let's begin to set your financial future in motion. And with that being said, let wealth and purpose drive you to prosperity.